Okay, we're recording. Here we go. Paradox of Sports, episode 29. It's the last one before we take a little holiday break for Thanksgiving. So, Jack, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I am doing well. It's a little chaotic. We get busy. We got to take the road trip, see the families, get everything done for Thanksgiving. But before I get into my plans too much, what are you looking forward to next week? What are your Thanksgiving plans? Do you know?
I don't.
So you don't know what you're doing.
No, not really.
So do you have school up until Wednesday, or are you off for the whole week, or how does that work?
What?
How does your school work? Like, are you going to school all week, or when do you get out for school wise for Thanksgiving?
Starting yesterday, we were doing all online.
Oh, that's right. I knew that. So
Yeah, and we have to go first half of the day on Monday and Wednesday, on calls, and then second half of Tuesday and second half on calls on Tuesday and Thursday.
Okay, so from the kids' perspective, are you bummed? Does that suck? Are you okay with it, or kind of where are you from the mentality of having to just stay home and do the online classes? Kind of where are you at with that?
I prefer going online.
You do. So you like staying at home.
No, I don't like staying.
Oh, you don't like staying home. You'd rather be going and doing in-person school.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are you getting on your mom's nerves yet?
No, not really.
Okay, good.
I don't know.
You don't know. That's a question I should pose to her. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
I wanted to look here real fast because I have not given a shout out here in a couple weeks, but I believe in the Paradox of Sports Pick'em, I believe let's verify, one Adrian Sentner is in first place right now. So she is in first place with 76 correct year to date. Matt Sentner, maybe you've heard of him. He is in second with 75, and you, Jack, are in third place with 71. You trail your mom by 5 going into this weekend. So really, your mom's beating our butts in these pick'ems.
Okay.
So we're gonna have to tighten it up a little bit.
Yeah.
How has your fantasy been going? Let's give me update a little bit on Jack's fantasy.
It's been doing really well. I've lost 5 games in a row.
In fantasy?
In fantasy, yes.
Oh my God. So where are you at in your league then? Like, where do you rank?
I'm still 6th out of 10.
Okay, you still got time. We can turn it around.
Yeah. Because this previous week, me and Tom Grasmick, who I was playing, we tied.
You had a legitimate tie to like the 10th?
Legitimate tie, yes. We both had like 138.45 points.
Oh, no. That's crazy.
And then I think it goes to our bench, and I don't know if it's updated yet, but I think Tom had a better bench than me, but it still says that it was a tie.
Okay, yeah, we'll have to mark that one down and remember to talk about that here in a couple weeks, because I've never seen a 0.1 game, but I've seen a 0.2. I lost in a fantasy league. This has been 3 or 4 years ago. It was the infamous Zach Ertz game. I was headed back to Lamar at Christmas, and we swung through Lyman, and I went ahead and traded out my tight end. It was for the Sunday night game, and I swapped my tight end for Zach Ertz as we were driving through. Well, it never updated. Zach Ertz caught 4 touchdown passes or 3 touchdown passes that night or something crazy. He never swapped off my bench, and I lost by like 4 points, something like that. It was rough. So, yeah, I've lost a tight one before.
Mm-hmm. I'm currently doing, by the way, NBA. I'm currently doing currently doing a mock draft of the pick before that's about to be announced.
How accurate have you been tonight?
So the first three I got right. We got Anthony Edwards to Minnesota, right? James Wiseman to Golden State, right? LaMelo Ball to Charlotte, right? But then I got 4 consecutive wrong.
So where are we sitting at with the Nuggets then? They don't pick till 22 or something,
23,
right?
23.
23. What are you, because we got a minute. So, I mean, we'll know when this posts, but we're still way ahead of the Nuggets pick. So who are you predicting that the Nuggets get?
I believe probably RJ Hampton.
I don't know who that is. Tell me a little bit about him.
He played in, I'm not sure where he played, but he played overseas.
Okay, what'd you say his name was?
RJ Hampton.
Okay, I literally have a device in my hand with the answer to every question in the world, so let's just check it out and see. So, RJ Hampton. You know, I have a cousin, RJ. I think you've met him a time or two.
Yeah, I've met him a few times.
You've met cousin RJ. RJ Hampton. Okay. Oh, wait. Yeah, here we go. Okay. Roderick Hampton Jr. is an American professional basketball player who last played for the New Zealand Breakers. I remember him. He skipped. There was a big thing on him because I want to say he was going to go to Duke. Is that where he was going to go? And then he skipped and went, because he's been playing professional now for a couple years, because that was kind of what led to was it LaMelo Ball? What's the dad's name? It's LeVar?
LeVar, yes.
Yeah, he was talking about wanting to start that amateur league for the kids that don't want to go to college and get paid, even though you and I both know the top collegiate players are getting paid.
Yes. By the way, I just got another pick right, finally. 8th overall pick, New York Knicks select power forward Obi Toppin out of Dayton.
Did they trade? Did the Knicks trade or anything to get to that spot?
No, they didn't trade. They were already
Gotcha.
there.
Now, did you think they were going to trade, or did you think they were going to stand pat?
I think they were going to trade up.
You thought the Knicks would trade up to try to get more of a superstar.
Mm-hmm. And I even thought that the Golden State Warriors would try and get Giannis sometime soon, maybe even in the draft. They would try to get Giannis Antetokounmpo.
But as of right now, they haven't done that yet.
And that may seem as of right now. And I think that would be a completely stupid idea because Giannis Antetokounmpo is probably the best player in the league.
Gotcha.
But they have a lot to give up.
Now, changing from they share the same arena, the Ball Arena now. The Avs put out their reverse throwback jerseys or whatever, which were the old Nordique Igloo. Did you see those sweaters?
I didn't see them. I heard about them, but I didn't see them.
Okay, we'll have to get you. We'll do that again too here before. I'm hoping, because we're doing this tonight, we already have our interview taped. We've interviewed some cool folks. I want to combine 2 of the folks we've interviewed so far. I want to get this individual tonight and Mr. Brooks together, and I want to go swing golf clubs. I think that would be fun. But when we reconvene here in a couple weeks, hopefully we know kind of the plan moving forward for hockey, because I want to get you and I are going to go to an Avalanche game. So we're going to get that taken care of. We're going to do it.
These are looking awesome.
Yeah, those jerseys are awesome. Awesome jerseys. I know we've talked about it before, but have you been to an Avs game before?
I've been to one, yes.
Okay, got you. But you went to the Pueblo Bulls last year.
Yeah.
So you've done a little hockey, and you liked hockey so far.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. That's something we're going to do. We're going to do us a little hockey. Once everything gets we're going to say back to normal. It'll get back to normal. Everyone's just got to be patient. But we'll go do some live sports. So last thing before we enter our guests, and then after we introduce our guests, I got a few follow-up questions for that too. But Thanksgiving, you're 11 years old, so you've celebrated 10 Thanksgivings. Looking back on the 10 you've had, is there one Thanksgiving memory that you have that sticks out?
What? You froze up.
Looking back on your 10 Thanksgivings that you've celebrated, do you have like a Thanksgiving memory that sticks out in your head yet? Like, have you had one cool Thanksgiving thing that's kind of burned into your brain?
Yes, last year I almost choked on an oyster.
What? Okay, I want this. Give me the story.
Okay, we were at the Broadmoor. No, it was actually 2 years ago. We were at the Broadmoor.
Okay, wait a minute. Stop. You go to the Broadmoor for Thanksgiving?
It was just that 1 year.
Okay.
We had there was like an all-you-can-eat buffet.
Okay, keep going.
So I got to try a few new foods I hadn't tried yet, such as an oyster. When I sucked the oyster, it got like down here. And I was coughing for a little bit, and then I coughed it back up, and then I started chewing.
Is this like a raw oyster on the half shell?
It's one of those, yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's cool. I can't do that. I have a quick oyster story for you. So probably 3 years ago, Jen and I went to the Indy 500, and on our way, we stayed the night in downtown St. Louis. And I cannot think of the name of the restaurant / bar that was right on the river there. But they had, I don't remember if it's Oysters Rockefeller or whatever. They're grilled. And they would bring them to you like 6 at a time. They were grilled with a little bit of Parmesan, and then you put a splash of Tabasco on them. And so every time our server would come out, this lady would come out and look at me, and I'd go like this. And then she'd bring me another plate of them. And I'd go like this, and she'd bring me another plate of them. So yeah, I've never tried them raw yet. Over in Deadwood, there's an oyster bar that you can do them raw. I just have a hard time trying fresh seafood in a landlocked state. I would try it at the Broadmoor, but dude, for only having 10 Thanksgivings, that's a really cool Thanksgiving story that you have in the bank so far. So you don't know what your plans are yet for this year?
No.
Okay. Of the traditional Thanksgiving stuff that you do, turkeys, sweet potatoes, all that, what do you look forward to the most on a traditional when you're at either set of your grandparents? Like what's a food item you're looking forward to?
The stuffed turkey.
Okay. Now, is it an oven? Is it a traditional oven cooked turkey? Are they putting it on a smoker? Are you deep frying it, or how does that work?
I think it's oven cooked. And by the way, I got another pick wrong.
Oh, you got another one wrong? Yeah,
I picked 9th overall pick Washington Wizards. I picked Tyrese Halliburton, a point guard. But instead, we got a small forward from Israel named Denny Avdia.
Well, they are the chosen people. I don't know if that correlates to the NBA, but they are the chosen people. Okay, let's go ahead and introduce our guest. And then when we come back, I got a few more questions for you of some things that come up in the interview. So without further ado, go ahead and let everyone know who tonight's guest is.
Introducing CSU-Pueblo head golf director and my golf coach. Please welcome Coach Josh Koschke.
Thanks for having me. This is awesome. I was trying to get on earlier and didn't have just moved home, so we were trying to get the Wi-Fi set up so we could make it happen. So we're all set.
Yeah, moving's fun, isn't it?
You know, it's amazing. It's once it's done, it's fantastic, but the journey is just a nightmare.
Yeah, no, we've done it a couple times. I don't ever want to do it again. So, but as we always do to get things started, we're going to throw it to our boy Jack to get the interview started.
Yep. How did you get into golf?
Actually, my grandmother took me to play golf and got me into a junior golf program when I was, I would say probably 7, 8 years old. Kind of like the program that you attend every summer with me, and that kind of got me started. But I didn't really take it up seriously from that point on until about high school.
Where were you at when this happened? So your first experience with it, what course are you on? Like where are we at in the world?
So we're in Arvada, Colorado. I grew up in Westminster.
Okay.
The junior golf program that I developed and learned from was at Indian Tree Golf Course in Arvada, Colorado.
And that's still there, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually the instructor and the head pro is still the same guy that instructed me. And a lot of the stuff I learned from him, and the things that we do with Jack and his brother at the summer times, I learned from them. So it's a phenomenal program.
During your high school career, were you completely focused on golf or did you play other sports?
I played basically 2 sports growing up. I played ice hockey and I played golf. Once I hit high school, at that time in Denver, there was no high school hockey. So I had the opportunity to kind of do some club hockey stuff, but there was no high school hockey. So I really got into golf because it was something that the school offered, and kind of left hockey in the rearview mirror after just about freshman year on.
After high school, you went and played 2 years with the Lamar Community College with great success. First question we want to know, how did you end up in Lamar? My dad grew up in Wiley. Uncle Kevin went to school in Eads, so he spent a lot of time in Lamar.
Yeah, it's a good question. I did not have the grades that I needed to out of high school to go play NCAA golf. So I had to take a little pit stop at Lamar Community College and get my grades up and graduate with my associate's degree. And then lo and behold, my game really developed there because, as you know, there's not much to do other than go to school and play golf all day. And I got really good at golf, and I got better at getting good grades, and that allowed me to sign with a Division I school in the University of Louisiana.
I haven't been as many. I got one. I got to ask a question. We got to do some Lamar follow up here, Jack. I got a farmer question here. So
Okay.
Now I haven't played a ton of courses, seen a lot on TV and stuff, but the few I've played, like Spreading Antlers seems to me like it's a sneaky nice course to where it can be dry as hell in Southeast Colorado, but they're going to keep the fairways there green. So of kind of the smaller places you've been course-wise, where did that one kind of rank on the stuff you played on?
It's way up there. And when I was there, it really developed my short game because the greens there are basically upside down bowls. And if you weren't good at chipping, the golf ball would roll right back to you. And kind of the way they protected that golf course is they put the pins on the edges, and you really had to be precise with your approach shots and your short game. And it really developed my short game way more than when I got there. And, they'd be lucky sometimes to do 10 to 15 rounds a day. And those greens were so pure because nobody walked on them. There wasn't any ball marks. They kept them pretty fast. And like I said, my short game out of anything really developed really nicely there. And yeah, you get playing there and it's blowing 30, 40 miles an hour. You got to learn how to play your golf ball. And that's what that did down there. And I actually haven't been back since school. I mean to go back every summer and play it, but I'll admit I haven't been back to Spreading Antlers since I graduated.
Where was your
If we can make it a plan to get down there around Christmas, like if I can get back down, I'm in Northeast Wyoming. My wife's actually from Lamar. So if we can make it down there at some point, sometime and line it up, I would love to go get Jack out and go play that course one time just to see. I would like to play it one time with somebody that knows how to play golf and just watch them and kind of find the strategy of not just hacking all over.
Sure. No, that'd be awesome. I need I need to get back down there for sure, because that was I owe that place a lot of credit to everything that I've been able to do.
Okay, Jack, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Where was your favorite place to eat?
Oh, it had to be Blackwell Station was a steak restaurant that they had, and then definitely BJ's for burgers and shakes.
Another little side note, Jack, after Jennifer and I got married, we went and had dinner at Blackwell Station. It's not there anymore. You don't know what that is, but that is where we went. And then, yeah, of course, BJ's is the local one. It'll be there forever.
You know, and the other one that we used to go to all the time, late night, we'd go to the truck stop, and we'd have do the South Bar, and we'd do some good breakfast. And then there was a little Mexican restaurant just across the street from the movie theater, and I can't remember the name of that, but it had phenomenal Mexican food. So yeah, we frequented all of those places a lot.
I have a couple cool stories about the truck stop I can't tell about myself and Jack's dad that we can share sometime when the young years aren't around. But yeah, that's a couple times. Yeah, I ended up at the truck stop for an early breakfast or late dinner.
Yeah, what happens at the truck stop stays at the truck stop.
So then after your time
typically, yes.
Then after your time at Lamar Community College, you came up to CSU-Pueblo. You continued your success with the NARMAC runner-up finish in 2003 and led the Thunderwolves to an NARMAC championship as team captain. Was there other memorable moments during your college golf career?
Yeah, I mean, so in between there was a stop at a big university in Louisiana where I failed miserably playing golf. I tell my recruits that I recruit every day. Even I had a couple of recruits. I had a girl on the phone from Sweden today, recruiting her to CSU-Pueblo, and just talked to her about I made the wrong decision going to the University of Louisiana. I went there for all the wrong reasons. Big scholarship, big town, big university, and it just wasn't the right fit for me. And I never got comfortable down there. And there's no excuses, but I just didn't play good golf. And at that level, if you don't get after it and produce immediately, they're kind of quick to get rid of you. So that allowed me to transfer to, at the time, University of Southern Colorado in Pueblo. And funny story, I mean, I couldn't play very good golf the whole year at Louisiana, and I made the 18 to 20 hour car ride home after my first year at Louisiana, and kind of had an idea that I wasn't going back. And about 10 to 14 days later, I qualified for the 2002 U.S. Amateur in Denver, Colorado, with the exact same game that I had the whole year. It was just because I was back at home and I was comfortable and my mind was at ease, and something about just getting closer to home was key. And I shot 5 under and got through in a playoff and ended up going to Detroit, Michigan that summer to play in the U.S. Amateur. And that was one of the best memories, just because of how things happened and how it changed so fast. And lots of good memories playing with the boys. All my best friends right now in the whole world are all from college golf, and I wouldn't have changed anything because I met so many different people at Lamar in Louisiana and in Pueblo. And yeah, it's just college golf is so awesome to be a part of.
In 2009, you became head golf coach of the CSUP men's golf team. Talk about the transition from player to coach.
I wasn't prepared, for sure. I was hired at age 27, I believe. So I was just finishing up a professional career in Scottsdale and San Diego, trying to play a little bit of professional golf and work at the same time, and got a phone call from Joe Folda saying that the men's job was opening up, and he wanted to know if I was interested. And I said yes, and probably within 2 to 4 weeks, I was back in Pueblo, being hired for that position. And yeah, I wasn't prepared for it. We had a lot of success right off the bat. In 2011, we went to the national championship and finished 11th place, but I made a lot of mistakes. And I've learned now going into my 12th year. I think that was probably one of the biggest problems, is I was more the guys' friends than their coach, and I didn't know how to kind of transition into that role. And But that's the way it goes, and you learn on the fly. And I think it's why I am where I am right now.
What are some of the similarities to being on a scholarship? And man, I'm thinking we're close. We were there at the same age. Were you there when Ebony Walker was? Do you remember her on the women's basketball team?
Oh gosh,
Does that name sound
what
familiar?
year was
This would have been maybe 02, 03.
Yeah, so I graduated high school in '99, and I was at Lamar in '99 to 01-ish.
Okay. Yeah, we're the same age. You're younger than me. So we were. I can't believe I never ran into you in Pueblo. Actually, I might have and just don't remember it. But
Good
that
chance I did.
Ebony, she played basketball there, and yeah, she talked about the not so much the pressure, but the job of being on scholarship at college. And I'm curious how that, when you were playing and on scholarship, how that maybe was different from your prep stuff, and then how that even kicked up a notch more when you were playing professionally for money. Like, what was the difference in your steps, amateur to the scholarship to the pros?
Yeah, so Lamar Community College was an opportunity for me looking forward to try to get that Division I scholarship. So that time of my life was completely used for looking ahead and working as hard as I could to get to that next step that I wasn't able to get to out of high school. Then once I got to Louisiana, it was very stressful, and I went to a program with tons of guys that were solid. So I wasn't the only guy that could play. You know, there was 10 of me, and it was a lot of pressure. It was a big scholarship, and I was far away from home, and it's tough to explain what it's like to play for a scholarship. But when you're playing for a scholarship, you're playing for your family. You know, because you're helping financially support yourself and get your education. And then in college, you know, you're playing for your team, your university, your community, your coaches, you know, your administration, maybe your strength conditioning coaches, your trainers. I mean, there's just a lot of people that help you get to where you need to get to. And it can be stressful if you think about it like that. You just kind of have to embrace it and know that these people are supporting you so that you can do what you need to do to represent and be the best you possibly can. And then fast forward into professional golf, it's something I still struggle with today is you're always constantly thinking about the cut line and how to make the cut so you can make that check and pay your rent or pay your mortgage or pay your car payment. And it's a terrible way to go about playing because golf is so mentally tough. If you're constantly thinking about the dollar bill and the scores you have to shoot, it doesn't allow you to just be free and go out and play. So you see a lot of these young guys that have sponsors and people that are backing them, and it takes a lot of pressure off of them because they don't have to worry about where their next dollar is going to come from, and they know they got another tournament coming. For me, it wasn't that way. I had to make money immediately in order to play into the next tournament. So it's stressful, and I play for fun now, and if it works out and I play well, great. But for the most part, I kind of sacrifice my game for the team, the men and the women, and helping them. But I do like to play a lot, and I don't take it as serious as I used to as a young 20-year-old, just because it's too stressful, and I'm not built for that anymore.
So within 2 years, you ended up coaching the RMAC champions. Plus, you received the honor of RMAC Coach of the Year. How great of a year was it for you in 2011?
It was awesome. I think up until this point, it's probably our greatest accomplishment as a program. It's the only time I've been to the national championship with the men's team. We actually shot 29 under par at the RMAC championship to win that. I had a handful of those guys go and try and turn in playing professional golf. I feel like that's a team that, you know, hopefully will be in the Hall of Fame here at CSU-Pueblo because they did so much that year. And then, you know, obviously the awards, I think we had Chad Novak was the player of the year. I was the coach of the year. There's just a lot of really awesome stuff that happened that year. And we've been close to, you know, attaining that mark, but it's always kind of been the standard, that 2011 team.
You talked about going from being the buddy to the boys to actually being a coach. What was one or two things that you had to change either in your demeanor or your approach or kind of what you had to do then to go and to be more, I don't want to say father figure, but more the coach to those guys to set them on the right path?
Yeah. I probably had to change a little bit of my social life and social skills. I like to, hang out with them a little more than I probably should have, taken them to dinners and, doing different things and extracurricular activities that were, I needed to have that level of separation from coach to team. And I know they all respected me. They respected me also because I was just coming off of playing professional golf and I could beat the crap out of all of them at any given time. So they knew coach wasn't just some guy driving the bus, but I really just had to learn to communicate with them. I was pretty tough to play for probably those first few years because I was just so darn competitive and I wanted to bring championships to Pueblo immediately, to my alma mater. And I had to learn to understand winning's not everything. And, they got to balance being a student and they got to balance being far away from home, which is what I struggled with. And they got to balance playing for the scholarship and all the things that go into that. And I think it's just been a progressively learning curve for me and more of a balancing, all the things that go into having a student athlete who can be successful.
After success on the men's side, you took on the responsibility of becoming director of golf at CSU-Pueblo, becoming the women's coach as well. In that first year, you led the women's team to another RMAC championship and had the RMAC Women's Golfer of the Year in Lena Kim, along with a couple more players that made the all-conference team. As a coach, what differences did you notice from the men's to the women's team as far as how you coached and had your players prepare?
Oh man, it was way different. I'm still learning how to be a women's coach. I think this is my 7th or 8th year doing that, and we've had a ton of success, lots of championships, lots of player of the years. But coaching women is 100% different than coaching men. It's a totally different way of communication. They have a lot more stuff going on in their life. School's a lot more important to them compared to the boys. There's different variables that come up daily. I really had to adapt and adjust quickly because my coaching method and style didn't go over very smoothly at the beginning. I had to, I wouldn't say become softer, but just more open to, just so many different things happening. And sometimes it's hard to push girls, so hopefully you get those girls that want to work really, really hard. And sometimes you get those girls that, need that extra motivation of a coach really pushing them, but you can't push too hard because you don't want to push them away from the sport. So it's a fine line of balancing, strict rules and hard love and support and all those things that go into it because they're so much smarter than us and they can see through you when you're kind of full of BS and they can probably tell when you're not fully all in and invested in them and that's stuff that you don't want to have happen. So I'm not the best women's coach in the whole world, but I sure have learned a lot.
Okay, I have a question. So I'm actually anxious to bounce this off you. My old man, he coached basketball in Southeast Colorado, boys and girls, and I don't know how many state titles they won. They won a lot. And so my daughters, so actually I'm a hockey parent. My daughters play hockey up here in Wyoming. And so that was kind of my first experience with female sports because my sister was a lot younger than me. I wasn't around then. So my dad, I asked him point blank how he dealt because the girls' game, the girls' locker room was overwhelming to me. Like it was a shock. So my dad boiled it down to very simply, boys win to feel good. Girls need to feel good to win.
Yeah.
Do you buy that?
I do. I think that, and there's different cases too. I've had so many different personalities and characters come through here in the last 8 years that there's yes and no. I think that they're just, they're more of an emotional human being, and they sometimes don't deal with pressure as good as maybe a male would. But they're also smarter than us to where they know they're here for an education, which is going to allow them to have a great job and be successful. And they prioritize better than the boys. The boys, I could have a guy who isn't very good at all at golf or not playing a whole lot, and he still thinks he's going to be on the PGA Tour. So it's a tough line to walk. They're smarter human beings than us, and
yes, they are.
Yeah, I think really the niche that I've found is it's all in recruiting. You gotta find the right person to play for me. So the beginning, I was just taking anybody I could possibly get or the best possible player that I could find. And over the years now, it's been a real grind to find the right character to fit into my program and my standards. And that's made it a lot easier to really relate, communicate, and get stuff done.
Let me find where we were.
I think we were at number 9. There you go.
2014 to 2015 was another great season on both the men's and women's side as a team and for a few individual golfers. Talk about that year for both squads.
Jeez, Jack, you're making me really rack my brain. I can't barely remember what I had for breakfast this morning. 2014 and 15. Now at this point, I'm also the assistant AD, director of marketing and promotions, and the men's and women's golf coach. So 2014 to me stands out big time as the national championship football team we had on campus. I was a part of that and traveling and doing, some things for John Riston and trying to help him out with travel arrangements for the national championships. And then golf it was so hard to balance all of those things that I was responsible for at CSU-Pueblo. It was probably the reason that I got out of the administrative side, because I was really, I wasn't giving the men and the women everything that I had because I was spread out so thin. So 14, 15, we probably had Jacob Allen back, and trying to think of some of the other girls we had at that point, Jacqueline Poorman. We've had so many good players that have come through here. I think we've had 4 or 5 individual RMAC champions on the women's side. I've been to 13 or 14 regionals and lots of national champions. So every year is great, Jack, as long as we win a championship or come really darn close. That's what we're striving for.
How much is the success of the football team driven everything at the college? I mean, for where you were there before that was even a thought, and now for me, I've been away for so long. When I do come home and drive by there on 4th Street by the college, it's insane how much it's changed. Hell, that's been 20 years now, but that's still that the football program, and you hear about it at all colleges on how important it can be to a budget and whatnot. But there in Pueblo, has that success helped you with the golf program on just getting CSU-Pueblo either in the paper or in kids' ears?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest thing is it's created a monetary opportunity for us to capitalize on the success of the football program and bring in more boosters, bring in more corporate sponsors, bring in more businesses because they want to be a part of football. And then it trickles down into the other sports, which allows us to do what we do. Without a football program, it's a lot more difficult to be financially viable in a Division II athletic department, because we don't rely on big TV networks and TV deals and stuff like that. So we rely a lot on, you and every other person's support of, $500 a year or, whatever their donations may be, and restaurants and businesses and stuff like that. So yeah, football, and it's, when I went here, we called it a backpack school. You were Monday through Friday, you were here, and then Saturday, Sunday, you went home to Denver or Springs, and you did what you wanted to do because there was nothing to do on campus. Now, these kids never leave. There's football games on Saturdays, basketball games on Saturday nights or Friday nights. So it's totally evolved since I've been here.
And I assume now when you start to bring in the football and the boosters, that there's a tie-in. There's got to be a tie-in with golf there because, I mean, the boosters, they're not going to go swimming or shooting horse. Like there's probably a way, I'm not dissing those, but I'm saying there's probably a cool way from a marketing standpoint and tying stuff in that the boosters, they want to golf.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and it starts with John Riston. I mean, he's the biggest golf nut out of everybody. And a lot of our biggest supporters are big time golfers. Pueblo's a golf community. So, everybody knows me, everybody that I run into, we've played golf with, we've played in tournaments. It does make it easy for me to raise money. If I need something, I can pick up the phone. It does go hand in hand, and a lot of business is done on the golf course. So I was actually kind of able to capitalize on this event that I used to do called a College Am, and it put two supporters with two college kids the day before our home tournament and allowed them to compete as a team together. And I just thought that was so cool because you couldn't just throw on a helmet and go out onto the football field or grab a lacrosse stick and go play with the team. But in golf, you can actually tee it up with the best college players in America and be right there on the tee boxes, on the greens. And it was an event that was really successful for us and kind of bridged the gap between the community and the programs.
2019 was a great year for the women once again. RMAC Women's Team Champions and another RMAC Coach of the Year honor. With the continued success, talk about your recruiting efforts and how you are getting these golfers into a program here in Pueblo.
It's all I'm doing right now, Jack. It's telephone calls, it's Zooms. It's a lot, especially when you recruit the international student like I do. You can pretty much quadruple the amount of time that you're going to spend with an international student compared to, a domestic student, just because there's so many more questions. There's so many more things going on with visas, and the parents want to know, more questions because they're sending their baby way across the world. And it's been the addition of the UK scholarship at CSU-Pueblo has changed the game for my programs. It's allowed me to be way more competitive on the European side, and actually allowed me to be so competitive that, we can offer scholarships and bring down the cost of tuition so much that we're as competitive as the D1 schools. So it's I would say the women's side is harder. There's not as many bodies, so you're all fighting over the same ones. There's much more male players that are out there, so that finding the right fit and the best fit is challenging, but there's so many more of them. But on the girls' side, it's just it's a constant struggle to get bodies, and I think it starts at the junior golf level. And hopefully, what we're doing here in Pueblo, the girls will start at a young age and continue on through middle school and high school and go into college. But yeah, recruiting, I would say that's probably my forte. It's probably why I've had so much success. Is I'm a straight shooter. I think our facilities, our weather, having a golf course on campus pretty much sell themselves to these kids, and it makes my job easy.
Where does that work? It's walking stick, correct? That's the one there on campus.
Yep.
Where does that compare to the colleges that you're really competing against for these athletes? Where does that course line up on? I mean, is that a huge selling point? Is it that much better of a course? Is it the college it's that much better, or kind of what is your real gotchas when you're going after these athletes?
I would say, yeah, walking stick is a phenomenal beast, especially when it's played from a long distance, from the back tees and the greens are rolling fast and you get some wind. It's absolutely, the most challenging golf course sometimes that we play all year. I would say the selling point for not only the UK, you got to understand the UK kids are coming over here with no vehicle as well. So they're sleeping 300 yards away from the golf course in their dormitory. So they don't need to rely on a vehicle to get to the golf course and to get to practice as much. And we do use the other golf courses often, but that is a really big selling point that they can just walk across the parking lot and be at walking stick. And then I was like I said, I was on a Zoom call with a Swedish girl this afternoon, and I opened up the door and showed her the sunshine. She goes, "Oh my God, I didn't know it's 75 degrees there. That's amazing." And so the weather is hands down the other thing that these kids are coming from, cold, windy, rainy areas of the world, and this is like paradise to them. So there's a lot of good selling points that I have.
Along with coaching, you are the director of instruction at Walking Stick and have developed a junior golf program and golf development program. I even took classes with you along with my little brother. How is the future of golf looking here in Pueblo?
I think it's looking fantastic. I mean, we got guys like you and your brother that are coming up through the pipeline, learning the correct way and to play the game, and just starting to fall in love with it the right way. I think the last 2 years I taught anywhere from 150 to 200 junior golfers in the summertime during my camps. And the whole goal is to try to find enough time in my life to keep doing that, because you got to keep that process going. Otherwise, you may lose interest in not playing golf and pick up another sport. So I think we have a good time out at Elmwood and Walking Stick and playing games and riding carts and having popsicles and doing all that fun stuff that I remember doing when I was a young kid. So I'm looking forward to keeping this thing going, and then hopefully these junior golfers turn into high school and college golfers and come over to CSU-Pueblo.
Did you watch the Masters this past weekend?
Oh, I don't think I did not watch a second of it, to be honest with you, Jack. It's a very important thing to me as a golf professional. It was really kind of boring the Sunday, just because the fans are so important to that venue, and Dustin Johnson was so far ahead that there wasn't much anticipation or competition, where you're sitting on the edge of your chair. But I'm looking forward to, the Masters in April hopefully with fans. And that was the first time that I really felt like not having fans at a golf tournament was a big deal, because it was really, you could really tell at Augusta that it was, it was really quiet, and that's not usually the case.
During the broadcast, they referred to a couple times on there were people there, but nothing like you would typically have. And they actually kind of talked about how it was like a college tournament where you had your coaches there and a few people in the crowd. So, I mean, someone that's done it, both the professional and the collegiate side of it, how much difference does that make in the whole strategy, the game, the adrenaline? Does that maybe have more of a difference than a guy that's never golfed, or hell, I've never even been to a professional golf tournament? Is that no crowd in Augusta compared to what they normally have? Is that night and day?
Oh yeah. I mean, the pressure and the stress that you're under when there's 10,000, 20,000 people lining a fairway. You don't want to hit them and kill them. I mean, so that's the first part that you're trying to figure out, is how to get your ball to the fairway. And then the second thing, there's nobody wants to fail in front of a lot of people. So, those guys don't know, how many people are watching on television and who's in their living room and when they hit a bad shot. So it's probably a lot less stressful when they screw up out there, because they don't have that many people there. And then the other thing is, at Augusta, you couldn't tell exactly what was happening, because at Augusta, it's all by the roars that they say, what a tiger roar is when he makes birdie on 15 or 16 coming down the stretch. It's a sound like you've never heard. And, those guys didn't have that to kind of spur them along. Rory McIlroy talked about it. He's talked about it every week, how his game has really suffered, because he really uses the momentum of the crowd and the fans to kind of get him going. And he hasn't had that during this restart. So yeah, I think, when we play a collegiate event in the middle of somewhere where there's not a lot of fans compared to when we go to a national championship, it is a different pressure, just because there's more eyeballs on you and you don't want to screw up in front of anybody.
Okay, so Jack, you got a good two-parter. Jack's got a good two-part question to end on. But before he does, I've got my last set. It's a two-parter too. So your favorite hole that you've ever played, and the one hole you haven't played yet you want to play. What are they?
Whew. This could use some. I could use some time to think about this. Best hole I've ever played. Oh God, there's this hole in DuPont, Washington, at the home course, number 9, that we've played a regional championship there. I've actually never played there because I've been coaching. I think it's one of the most beautiful holes and one of the most dynamic holes that I've ever seen. I've been fortunate enough to play hole 16 at TPC Scottsdale, where they have 50,000 fans basically in a baseball field built around that stadium. They call it the stadium hole. I played it probably.
Is that that's that par 3, right?
Yeah.
Is that par 3? Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we played that about a month or two before the tournament a few years ago, and the bleachers were actually up. And talk about intimidating. I mean, it's just 150, 160 yard par 3, but you're literally playing in the middle of Coors Field, and those people are intoxicated, and they're on top of you, and you hit a bad shot, and it's booze, and so that hole is amazing. I was able to play the Broadmoor back-to-back days this last month, which was a first for me, and that golf course is absolutely stunning. I think everybody's goal. I want to get to Pebble Beach, and I want to get to Augusta somehow. Those would be 2 bucket list deals. And then even I'm working on trying to get up to Cherry Hills in Denver, where Arnold Palmer won the U.S. Open many years ago. So I've been fortunate to play a lot of great golf courses, but there's a lot more that I got to get after.
Awesome. All right, Jack, your last couple.
Who is your favorite golfer?
Tiger Woods.
Who is your least favorite golfer?
I'm a little bit not excited about Brooks Koepka right now. I think he's kind of rubbed me the wrong way for many reasons. And I used to be all in on him, but the last few weeks he's really kind of pushed me away. I can't say I hate him or dislike him, but I wasn't really rooting for him this week at the Masters. Yeah, Tigers. I grew up in the Tiger era, so it's all Tiger for me. I got some autographed memorabilia from Phil Mickelson in the basement, and so I'm kind of an old soul. I like those older guys. They're in between the 40s and 50s like me, and but I yearn for the day that Tiger puts on another green jacket or wins another major. That would be awesome.
For once, we actually disagree.
Well,
My favorite golfer is Brooks Koepka.
That's the first time we've ever disagreed.
It's the first time we've ever disagreed.
I mean, he's a great player. I just don't like the interviews afterwards where he's poking Bryson DeChambeau, and he's kind of antagonizing people, and I don't really like that. And he's kind of caught up with it. He's not played very well in the last few majors, so maybe it's because of his mouth.
Hey, super last one. Then I'll let you. Then I'll stop. You talked about I think it was the 16th or the TPC, and I honestly I have followed golf a little bit more through like foreplay and the kind of the Barstool way of how they cover it. Where do you stand on like the old man golf versus the new golf, where they do have some guys that are coming in and drinking and yelling and screaming after guys hit? I mean, you've been in golf now for 25, 30 years. So are you cool with there being a little bit more fun being had at the golf course?
Yeah, I think there's a time and a place for it. I think it's great for the game because it's turned the demographic into so much of a wider game. We got, the TPC Scottsdale, it's a lot of college kids, and that's awesome because you wouldn't naturally get those people at a professional golf tournament. So I think there's a time and a place for it, and I would be all for more holes like 16. But I know there's a lot of professionals that don't go back there because of that, and because it's not always quiet, and there is some heckling, and unfortunately, you'd hate to be the guy that gets yelled at while he's trying to hit a golf shot and you screw up, but it's kind of part of the game. Those guys are making millions of dollars, so they can kind of put their blinders on and go about it. But there's some old school guys that just can't. They don't like it, and they haven't adjusted to it. And hey, the purses are big because of all those types of things that are happening. So it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Dude, I appreciate you taking some time. Then I could talk with you for 2 hours.
Yeah.
we don't got time to do that tonight. So, but I appreciate you taking the time. And I know just talking to Matt, and it's cool what you're doing with the kids and everything with the program. Like that's awesome.
Yeah, it's been, the coaching is fantastic, and I've had so many great players come through here, but the junior golf aspect of it is so important to me, because I came from such a great program where I loved waking up when I had junior golf day. It was like, let's go. I want to do something. I want to win a piece of candy. I want to win a prize. I want to play golf. And I just try to do the same thing with these kids, because it's such a fantastic opportunity for them. And in this town, it's supported so well. And it's just, we're very spoiled here. And I want, we had kind of a lull in the youth game, the last decade. And I'm trying to do my part to bring it back and make sure these kids have a place to play, and make sure they're doing it the right way. And they can kind of do what they want with it after that. But I just want to give them a platform to experience it. And 9 times out of 10, they stick with it for quite some time.
Awesome. Well, again, man, thank you for the time.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We want to thank Coach, as Jack calls him, for taking some time to talk with us. I could have talked with him for hours. We've done a few guests. He's the one that's right in my wheelhouse. He was in Pueblo during the University of Southern Colorado days, at the tail end of that. He's been around for the birth of the football program, and I think he shed a lot of light on how that's an uncomfortable question to ask sometimes. I don't know whether to ask those guys about how the football program ties into everything else, because I don't know if everyone likes the football team. Like, I don't know the innards and the outers of how that work. But you mentioned, Jack, that you had been a part of the clinics, the youth clinics that he does there in town. How many of those have you done?
This was my first year coached by him.
Okay.
All of the before times I was in Pueblo West.
Okay, so the stuff that you did with Coach, what kind of explain to me a little bit about that? Is it a one-day deal, or how does that clinic work?
It's like 1 week, maybe 2 weeks. It's like 1 or 2 weeks.
Okay,
so clinic.
Gotcha. So you're going out to the course every day then and playing a little bit.
Yeah, and I was there for 3 months.
Okay, so what are they teaching you about golf?
All of the normal stuff about golf.
Okay, like...
And how professionals do it. Like driving, chipping, and putting. All of that. And then the mental parts of the game.
Okay. Is that something... I know we've talked a little bit, and like I said, there's 15 more questions I could have asked him. But one of the things, as we kind of follow you in your life, is so far we've had, you're in football, you're in basketball, you're in baseball, you're in the knowledge. I don't know if you call it knowledgeable. I call it knowledgeable.
We call it National Academic League.
Yeah, so National Academic League. Do you have, where is golf on your list of stuff that you want to become proficient at? Where is golf in your list there?
I'm gonna say 5 or 6.
Okay. I am going to strongly encourage that you move that up on your list. I don't think it should take over any of your, I'm going to go again with knowledgeable based stuff, of your learning and academic stuff. But when it comes to the football, the baseball, the basketball, the only thing I will tell you is when you get my example of why, because you're going to ask why do I think golf should be, when you look at the Masters, which we talked to him about a little bit, and you see that Dustin Johnson won, just Google Paulina Gretzky. Really, that's all. That's the whole. Gotcha. So you look up Paulina Gretzky, and then look up Dustin Johnson career winnings, and you combine those two together, and that's a good life that he has right there. So basketball, football, baseball, that's all stuff that's fun and cool. But in all reality, you're going to be done playing those in your early 20s. You can golf for the rest of your life. And there is nothing cooler than the day that you were my and your dad's age and you're a scratch golfer. If you get and you're that proficient at that, dude, that would be awesome. And then let's say golf, you're awesome at golf. That's what you do. Let's say one day you're a professional golfer. I want it on tape right now that if you ever get a play in a Masters, maybe not the first year, because that would be something especially for a family member, but your second or third year, when they have the par 3 tournament that Wednesday before the Masters, I get a caddy for you. Is that a deal?
Deal.
Okay, deal. It's boom, mark it, lock it. We're good to go here. Where are we at with your picks? We got another pick on the another NBA pick coming?
Yes, we've got the Phoenix Suns pick. I'm currently picking Tyrese Halliburton again.
Didn't he already go though?
No, he didn't already go.
Oh, so he's still on the board. Gotcha. Okay.
He's still on the board. I'm
Okay.
only picking that pick that's coming up using everybody that's left.
Gotcha. Well, while we're doing that,
Okay,
let's look.
Pick is in.
Okay.
Let's see. Who is it going to be? All right,
Let's
it takes
check.
a while. It takes a
We have
while
a-
because
Are they doing the draft virtual? They're not all there in person, are they?
Adam Silver's there in person, and then the 4 analysts. Oh, Jalen Smith. I got that wrong. Okay.
Dagnabbit. I picked the over on all 3 of the MAC games tonight, and it looks like I'm going to hit 2 out of 3.
Oof.
Well, shoot.
What MAC games?
We have Northern Illinois at Ball State, Toledo at Eastern Michigan, and Western Michigan, Central Michigan. I picked the over in all 3. And the one I'm struggling with right now is the Northern Illinois Ball State. It's 14-14, so I'm at 28 in the third on my over, and I need that over to get to 60. So I need some stuff to start happening here muy pronto, or I'm going to go ahead and take the L in that guy. So my overs in the Toledo Eastern Michigan game and the Western Michigan Central Michigan, which were I think 59 and 60 or something like that. I'm on pace for those, but we'll see.
Okay.
I am maybe the worst sports gambler on the face of the planet, Jack. So let that be a lesson to you.
Okay. So for my San Antonio Spurs pick, I take Sadiq Bey, a small forward out of Villanova.
Okay, so that's who you're guessing will do it?
Yeah, for the Spurs.
Okay. Okay, I just realized something too. We got, well, even though we're recording, go up and change your name. Let's change your name. Me to Jack.
Oh,
No,
dang it.
no, it's okay. I'm curious if when we save this, if it back saves it on everything. That's something we haven't done yet, so we can see.
I don't even
Bam,
think
there
it
it is.
shows the name.
Oh, has it not been showing the name back and forth?
I don't think it's been showing the name. And if
Okay.
it was, then we could have some serious heat in the air about it, and then we could get more popularity. That'd actually be
That's
good.
true. Be like, yeah, talking to ourselves in the mirror.
Yeah, basically.
Sweet. Okay,
completely
so
unintentionally.
you have, what's today? So today is Wednesday. This drops on Thursday. So you have Thursday, Friday. How many days of the virtual school do you have to do next week before you get to leave on vacation?
Next week is vacation.
Oh, you're off the whole week?
Yeah, we have 1 week of vacation.
Nice, man. We got to go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday up here. So, don't tell Jennifer. Don't tell Jennifer. She'll be mad.
So they only go the weekends on Thanksgiving break?
Yeah, so for Thanksgiving, they have to go to school until Wednesday at noon. And then for Christmas, let me find the calendar.
Because I think
for Christmas, they have to go to school through the 23rd, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah, which is dumb.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll keep everybody updated on the draft progress and how you did there. We'll see if your mom continues to kick everyone's butt in the pick'ems. But I think we did good tonight. Josh gave a phenomenal interview. So that was, we're going to come down and we're going to go golfing with Josh. Like that's on the list of stuff Uncle Kevin wants to do.
Okay.
Sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay, buddy. If I don't talk to you again, have a good Thanksgiving. We're off next week. We'll be back the week after that. It's a secret. Again, your dad has lined up another great interview. So we'll get to that then. But everybody have a very happy Thanksgiving. Stay safe. Stay out of trouble. Jack, it's been fun talking to you tonight.
Yeah. And
awesome, man.
Is that guest Alana Rizzo?
Maybe. Strong maybe. That's a good one. You need to do your homework. Let's say hypothetically it is the lead reporter of, did they win the World Series?
Yeah, they won.
They did. I blanked that out of my head because that's your dad's team and I don't like him. But let's say hypothetically we do have the lead reporter for the World Series champions in 2 weeks. That's a lot of pressure on you you got a lot of work to do on some questions. Okay. Right on, man. I'll talk to you here in a couple weeks.
All right.
Right on, man. Later.
Later.
Oh, no. Wait. We got to do the thing that our executive producer said we have to do.
Oh, the good outro?
Yeah, we got to have a good outro. So hold on. Ready? Okay. Good outro in 3, 2, 1, go.
Well, that's today for the Paradox of Sports podcast. See you guys next week. Be sure to like and hit that subscribe button. It'll really support our YouTube channel.